Hey, what's good, guys? Clutch and Essam here, back in another video. And for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Houston Texans. I'm going to be discussing a topic that's kind of controversial in the Texans world right now. Some people were for it, some people were against it. I kind of see both sides, but I think I'm going to say I'm heavily leaning one side. Like, I see both viewpoints, I see both standings, but I feel like this player definitely makes us better, or at least on paper he does. And, I mean, he should just make our offense better in general. And this player is running back Saquon Barkley. Now, assuming Barkley hits free agency, which seems like very, very highly likely, because I don't think New York is going to end up paying him. And I don't think they're going to attack him again. I don't think they would do that to him. And I don't think he wants to be there anymore either, unless they do come to an agreement with the contract, which, again, I said is highly unlikely. So he's probably going to be hitting free agency. And Barkley, I think at this point in his career, he does want to get paid. He does want to get a little bit of a bag. But I think he wants to win. I mean, with New York, he did make the playoffs last year. But outside of that, he hasn't had too successful of a career in New York. I mean, they really haven't done anything in the playoffs worth notable. They haven't had too many winning seasons. He hasn't been the healthiest in New York. I mean, most of it, I guess, were kind of freak injuries. It's not something like he could prevent. I mean, the ACL, of course, hamstring things here and there, quads, stuff like that. So it's nothing like he could prevent. I mean, it's not that he's taking unnecessary hits or whatever. I mean, just typical running back injuries, typical football player injuries, really. You really can't prevent them. So injuries, there is a lot of talk about his injury concerns. But for me personally, I wouldn't be too worried. I feel like I would be comfortable giving him like a 2 to 3 year deal max. Like right now, he's going to be 27 in a couple of weeks, and sometime in February. I think February 17th. So he's going to be 27 at the start of next season. If we give him like a max 3 year deal, I think I will be very, very comfortable. Pay him until he's 29, 30. And at that point, I mean, that's most of the time when the running backs really start to fall off. I mean, I don't think Saquon's going to fall off anytime soon. He still has like a good maybe 5 years. But for the sake of people not wanting to pay running backs, I feel like a 2 to 3 year deal, maybe $10 million a year. On the Socratic, I don't know what the site is called, but like a Socratic, the cap and trade thing or whatever it's called. The website that like predicts or I guess analyzes different contracts that players are realistically going to get. I think they have him listed, Saquon, at like $7 million a year. So just to play it safe, maybe we were to give him like 9 to 10 a year for 2 to 3 years. 3 year, $30 million deal, 2 year, $20 million deal, something like that. I would be very, very on board with that. Now let me just talk about the different, I guess, positives that Saquon Barkley would bring to this offense. Now, Saquon Barkley, I think my favorite thing about him is his ability in the pass game. I think that's one of the better traits about him. Nowadays in the league, I feel like almost every running back that comes out, they're good in both pass and run. And I mean, the Texans, they kind of had that with Devin Singletary, but I don't think he's as talented. He's not as good to the extent as Saquon Barkley is, like in general. I mean, Saquon Barkley, we all see how explosive he is as a runner and how powerful he is at the same time. We've seen him run real routes from the running back position. Not just running back routes versus like a swing pass, a quick little out, just like a check down safety option. Saquon Barkley actually runs real routes as a running back. And a lot of people bring this comparison up. I don't want to really say it's a comparison, but he could be our Christian McCaffrey. Like, we could use him like how the 49ers use Christian McCaffrey, and I'm not sure if that's exactly the right way to use him. I mean, obviously, he could be used like that. They have similar traits, similar qualities. Of course, CMC is the far superior running back, but they do share similar traits. I mean, both are super, super shifty. As I mentioned, both can run really good routes from the running back position. Both are just super, super explosive and can kind of carry the load as a running back for the offense. Now, when I say that, a lot of y'all are probably going to bring up Saquon Barkley's stats. And, I mean, yeah, sure, they weren't really amazing. But then when you have to take in consideration the offensive line that he's playing in. Yes, our offensive line, it's not like it was great, but it should be much better next year, and especially with the true system put in place compared to New York, where I'm not exactly sure what they were doing. I'm not sure exactly what their system was, or what they were trying to do because it just didn't look good at all. They had Saquon Barkley running right into people. They had offensive linemen running into Saquon Barkley, which is a mess last year. Saquon only averaged 3.9 yards per carry, which, yes, again, it's kind of concerning, but you have to take in consideration the offensive line. That's just a mess over there. The offense was a mess. They didn't have a quarterback. They didn't really have any receivers. The only, I guess, elite player they had on offense was Saquon Barkley. And when you only have one player to worry about as a defense, of course your game plan is going to be surrounded around trying to limit and stop Saquon Barkley. And, I mean, for the most part, they did that. He failed to reach 1,000 yards last season, but he was very close. He had 962 rush yards. But the year prior to that, 2022, the year they made the playoffs, arguably Saquon's most successful year, probably his most successful year, I think, in my opinion. He had 1,300 rush yards, 4.4 yards per carry with 10 total rush touchdowns. And I think in the receiving game, I think he had, I want to say he had 3, 4, max, maybe even 500 receiving yards, I think. I may be a little bit off on that, but I think he did have somewhere around that range with a handful of receiving touchdowns as well. I think maybe like a good 3 to 4. So again, there goes that aspect to being good in the receiving game, in the pass game. And I think, again, as I said, I think that would be my favorite quality that he would bring into this offense. Yes, we definitely do need a running back that's going to be a runner, a guy that's going to get those zones, find those holes, the type of offense we run, the West Coast offense that's going to follow these blockers, just get space out in front. Something that Dameon Pierce wasn't really able to do this season. But I feel like if we add Saquon Barkley, I feel like he could still even re-sign Devin Singletary at that point. I mean, if you only give Saquon maybe like 9, 10, you could probably re-sign Devin Singletary to maybe like a $4 to $5 million deal. Something like that range, similar to what he got last year, but maybe a tad bit of a bonus increase. And then, of course, you would still have Dameon Pierce on the offense, and he would just be a running back 3. And, I mean, Dameon Pierce as your running back 3, I feel like he'd probably be the best running back 3 in the whole NFL by far. Dameon Pierce, yes, he did not have the best year, but he's still a very talented runner. He just simply didn't fit in this offense, but I still have faith in him. I think he can still contribute in some aspect, but especially if he's at running back 3. He's going to be getting a little bit of a carry. He's probably more goal line work. But a running back room of Saquon Barkley, Devin Singletary, and then Dameon Pierce as your third option, as your, I guess, special teams guy, so-called, but that can also provide a strong impact by running the football. Most teams don't have that. Most teams just have 2 good running backs and maybe 1 special teams guy, like how we did with Dare Agbo. I'm mispronouncing his name. Dare Agbawangli. I'm sorry, I'm strongly mispronouncing his name. But the guy that did the kicks, that one game when Fairbairn got hurt. But he was more so our special teams guy. But he was our running back 3 as well. I think Mike Boone had a little bit of a good run with us as well. Or not good run, but I mean, he had a few plays with us. But Dameon Pierce, the point is, having him as your running back 3, I feel like that would be really, really good. But yeah, Saquon Barkley, he would bring so much to this offense, more so in the receiving game. We can do more running back screens, which is something I think would add another good dynamic to our offense. We've really, really lacked that. I mean, we really couldn't do that with Devin Singletary, not just because he wasn't good at it. We did do it a couple of times with him, and it did work. But again, I don't know. He's just not as explosive as a Saquon Barkley. Barkley's going to catch the ball, and he's just going to put his foot in the dirt, and he's going to go. And Devin Singletary, we did see that at times. I was very, very impressed with Devin Singletary. I do think he could be a starter in this league, but for the offense that we want to run, I don't think that's the case. I feel like he's more of a running back in like a Buffalo Bills, like exactly where he came from. And that type of offense where it's a very, very pass-heavy, you only need to run in certain situations. That's the type of offense that he's going to excel in. And for us, I mean, we need to be able to run the football successfully to get this offense going. We run a lot on the play-action game. A lot of C.J. Stroud's success came from play action, deep shots on play action and stuff like that. So in order to implement that, we need a good, strong running game. And Saquon Barkley, he adds just that. And then play action, I don't know, you can run a whole lot of different sets, a whole lot of different offensive formations with Saquon Barkley. I'm very much in favor for it. I think the only thing that will be in question is the competition from other teams trying to sign him. I'm not sure who else would probably be in the running. I could see maybe the Ravens. I could see maybe, the The Bills, maybe? The Bills are strongly linked with him. I think a couple off seasons ago. The Chiefs have Pacheco. What other playoff teams? I don't know. I don't think there's that many teams that make a ton of sense for Saquon Barkley, unless he's just strictly trying to get paid. I think there are teams that would pay him more than $10 million. I think there are teams that would probably pay him close to $15 million even. But it would be a team like maybe Washington. A team like maybe... just a team that isn't that good and probably wouldn't have that much success in the season and not a playoff contender. Something that we are. We can offer Saquon Barkley a possible run in the playoffs, and then we can offer him a decent-sized contract. Obviously nothing crazy, but 10, 11 max, I feel like that's very fair for him, the type of player he is. He's a very elite player. I mean, there's nothing more to say. But yeah, let me know what y'all guys think down below in the comments. Would y'all be in favor of signing Saquon Barkley? Why or why not? It's been Clutch here, Entertainment. I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.